Working on the Gladiator here at Hardline 4x4 in Pottstown. Jeremiah and I are going to get started on the TORQ Locker, going in the front axle of the Gladiator. A couple things to note about that we'll get into, but otherwise it's really just in a basic TORQ Locker install. So we're going to start out by removing the front wheels. Obviously put it up on the lift a little bit here. Front wheels, unit bearings, and axle shafts out. Pull the diff cover, and the carrier will come out, and we'll take it over to the press, and we'll go from there. Hey guys, thanks so much for stopping by and checking out another episode of Dirt Road Therapy. If you're just here to watch the part about the roll pin, go ahead and skip ahead to 311. But first, please drop a like and a comment letting me know that you found the video helpful. I'm with my good friend Nate and his son Jeremiah here, working on his Gladiator at Hardline 4x4. Jeremiah is 13 years old and very mechanically adept and looking forward to this install with me. At the time of this video recording, this is the newest TORQ Locker available from Torque Masters Industries, and we're excited to give it a try in this Dana M210 front axle of this non-Rubicon Gladiator.
Oh.
That one's a little different. We're almost ready to pull out the carrier.
Is it pulling out the carrier?
Mm-hmm. So now we just need to slide this axle shaft over. Okay, this is the one. Here, take a look. That has a little clip on it.
Yeah.
To keep the axle from sliding in too far. Thanks so much for watching this whole install video. Liking, commenting, and subscribing helps the channel grow more than you may even realize. I've set a big goal for 2024 of hitting 10,000 subscribers before 2025. I'd really appreciate it if you help me reach that goal. What I usually try to do is hold both these bearings. And there's also shims. Yeah, these guys will fall off too. Alright, I got it. So what we're trying to do here now,
We have to get
and to get
out.
those out, we've got to take this cross shaft out. And to get the cross shaft out, the gear is in the way. So we've actually got
Take hold of
the process here. We got to take all these bolts off of the ring gear. One thing we just did here to make sure this goes back together the way it came apart is to mark it, and I did that by scratching and use Sharpie because it scratches not very obvious, but the Sharpie wipes off, we can look real hard and find the scratch, I'm sure. So our next step is going to be to get this cross shaft out here, and this is a little bit interesting because see, this here is a roll pin, and usually when you have a roll pin in a carrier like this, there's another side, like it's a hole all the way through.
Yeah.
This is called a blind hole, where there's a hole going in and there's no exit. So what we have to do to get the cross shaft out is actually just going to be to support this and press directly on the cross shaft. It will shear that roll pin off of there. A little bit. Go. The cross pin will come out. That's why they include a new roll pin in the package here. So once that's out, we can either, well, this side should be just enough that we can push it the rest of the way through, and then whatever's left on this side should be minimal enough we can either get it with a drill bit or it'll just fall out. It's a little easier than I expected. Should be able to tap out the rest of that. See what we did to the cross pin there?
Yeah.
Just snap. That's really hardened steel, so
That's why it exploded like that.
yeah, that's what. So we got this part of the roll pin out by just pushing through with any size punch that would fit. That would work. I used an Allen key on a socket, and then this side of the roll pin, I noticed right away it's not very deep. It's super shallow. That's bottomed out on the hole on that pick, and then I'm already moving this piece around. So really doesn't take much to get this out of here. Here it is. So that's all that was left of the roll pin inside the carrier. So that's the most complicated step of this install, because that's what makes it different than any other TORQ locker that I've done, is that we had to shear that roll pin. And now that that's out, we're all set to start assembling TORQ locker in here, and we will just be able to press that new roll pin they gave us right into the spot where it goes. So let's flip this over. Your other rust washer there. I'm gonna wipe that off. Give it a little brake clean. And then some oil. Go and smear that around. Put that on there.
Oil on top.
Yep, might as well. Should be pretty well on both sides, but we don't want anything dry. That's good. Alright, now comes a little bit complicated part. So the bottom cam gear, you can put in there however you want. However it fits. So notice it's got two flat sides, so that's probably to make it fit into the carrier. Rotate it 90. There you go. And then let's put the other, well, actually the other half can't go in yet. We got to put this in and then hold it up. So I'll do that.
You could reach your finger in. That's how I.
There you go. Suggestion.
You have to orientate this perfectly.
Ah, yeah. Teeth gotta kind of. Perfect.
You can drop it.
Yep. So now the only other thing we have to do in there is these little springs that they give us.
For right here.
Yep. So we can either do the cross shaft first or these. It doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and do the cross shaft actually, because that'll put things everywhere they need to be.
Probably could just put it in my hand.
Last thing, oh, we got one more thing to deal with here. We got to get that out of the cross shaft. Cross shaft. Actually, can you grab me that red hammer behind you, Nick? This we might need to
Check our orientation.
annoying. Not bad.
That's done.
Perfect. Oh, we forgot a step. We got to get the rope in. That would suck. As long as we got both of our thrust washers in there.
Spring.
Good. Springs next. I used to think the springs was a hard step, but it's actually not.
Not compared to what we just did.
Right. Yeah, springs really isn't tough.
I mean, you could just...
You can actually get them by hand usually. Or just with a little screwdriver if necessary. There it goes.
Got it.
That's where it's on its way, so there, that's it. So you can see how they kind of shouldered the cut there?
Yeah.
So you can really see if the spring is all the way seated. If they didn't have that extra little cut there, you could easily have the spring like resting on the shelf on the edge there, and then as soon as it spins, that spring would go whee! We cleaned everything up with brake clean, chased the threads in the ring gear, and put everything back together using red Loctite. Don't forget red Loctite on these bolts as well as the carrier bearing cap bolts. Dana spec is 135 to 155 foot-pounds for ring gear bolts. Small one is.
In?
That's your fingers.
Yep. This is for big.
66.5 to 73.5 foot-pounds for the carrier bearing cap bolts. Make sure you reinstall that clip on the intermediate shaft before putting everything back together. It has like a little plastic thing that it ramps up on to get in here. So you're obviously not all the way in yet, but you're where it needs to be, and the shift collar is on that axle now. I think this Gladiator of Nate's turned out just awesome. We'll be doing a full build video on this Jeep here soon. We did Falcon AT3W 35-inch tires. All the axles other than the TORQ Locker are completely stock with 373 gears, a Clayton 2.5-inch lift, Falcon shocks, Go Rhino steps, LOD bumpers, a worn winch, and Nate already had the smart cap on there as well. It should be a highly capable Jeep, and it really transformed the look of this truck. Let's take it out in the dirt and see how it performs. Nate and Jeremiah had an absolute blast testing out the new capabilities of their Jeep Gladiator out in the dirt before heading home to Tennessee. I can't wait to get together with Nate sometime down in Tennessee now that he finally has a Jeep. We've been friends for over 20 years, and this is the first Jeep he's actually owned. So definitely stay tuned for some Tennessee and Southern adventures as I link up with Nate to go test out this Gladiator even more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.